Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and for the second time this week, welcome to the latest episode of the Hard Compound Live. For those of you who don't know, if you've not tuned in before, my name is Rich and I run the Hard Compound. We're a one-stop shop for all things motorsport, and we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube. So do give us a search, give us a follow, hit the notification bell on Twitter, add the Hard Compound to your hashtags on Instagram and all that other social media stuff. That means that you can tune in to all the good motorsport stuff that we bring your way, usually in the form of race reviews, race previews. We do throwbacks, we do, excuse me, we do throwbacks, we do birthdays, we do all kinds of things from the motorsport world, on two wheels and four wheels, on road, off road, touring car, NASCAR, IndyCar, F1, and everything in between. And we also do live interviews such as this one. These are broadcast on our Facebook, our Twitter, and our YouTube channels, saved automatically once we're finished, so you can go back and watch them. And we've had some fantastic guests from across the motorsport spectrum. Just a few that we've had on. We've had a number of drivers from the British and World Touring Car Championships from the last 30 years or so. The likes of Mr. Jason Plato. We've spoken with Frank Sittner, Rob Gravett, Steve Soper, Ivan Muller, Anthony Reid, Gabriele Tarquini, Rickard Rydell, Tom Coronel, Andy Prio, and the like. And we've spoken to a number of drivers who have raced in IndyCar, F1, sports car, the likes of Mika Salo, Carl Wendlinger, Ari Lyondike, Alonso Jr., Lynn St. James, Will Power, Derek Warwick, Stefan Johansson, Mark Blundell, David Brabham, Eddie Cheever, Emanuele Perro, and the like. And we've I had the honour and the privilege of speaking with Mario Andretti and Jackie Ickx. Absolutely fantastic. There's plenty more besides, so do go and check those out on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. But don't do it just yet, because we have another guest who has competed in Formula One, IndyCar, and sports cars with success, and has gone on to have a career in the music world as a DJ, which I think is a first, definitely, for our guests. So without any further ado, we're going to bring him in right now. Please join me in extending a very, very warm welcome to Mr. Raul Boesel.
Hello, Rick.
And there we are. Raul, how are you, sir?
Good. Hello from Brazil.
And I'm sure the weather is much better in Brazil than it is in the UK. Well, it always is, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely is. It's being rainy in Brazil, but it's warm anyway.
Lovely. It's not warm here.
I know.
Yeah. And you've also got a much better backdrop than I have. That is a very cool picture you have behind you. A very cool color.
Yeah, actually is of pictures, and this is actually is a paint.
Wow.
The Jag. So I can move here around and see a little bit.
That's fantastic.
So it's quite nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That is. I think it's you and I think Scott Pruitt have had the two best backdrops. He was in his vineyard with loads of barrels of wine behind him, which was cool. But I think you've won. That's excellent. But yeah, firstly, thank you very much for expending some of your early evening, I guess, to come and have a chat. It's absolutely fantastic to have you on. You're someone that I've wanted to speak to for, as I said, when we were off air, for about 35 years. So thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Fantastic. Just want to turn my attention very quickly to the comment section over here on my right-hand side. If you have any questions or comments, do put them in the comment section. I will try and work them into the chat, and it's great to have you all on board. So if anyone does have any questions, type them in and we'll put them to Raul at a appropriate time. Thank you to everyone who's commenting already. We've already got something about Tom Walkinshaw, which we'll come to later. But if I may, can we start right back at the very start? Where did your interest in motorsport come from?
As a kid, play with little cars and so on, but and grow up watching Emerson Fittipaldi, to Brazil. The time was black and white, and was about 14 to 15 years with a friend in a go-kart track, and to help him to the go-kart to get started. And after he run all day, he let me do some laps, and then I just home and I start to push my parents that I want a go-kart. I want a go-kart. I annoy them quite a bit. Basically went in a strike. I didn't speak with my parents during, and I just make a sound like a car go by, like wow, wow. That's what the question, like yes, no, and my thought this will be like just few days, and a week went by, and I was really annoying them, and I have a friend of my mother said to go to my 15th birthday and the go-kart, so he stopped with this annoying thing. So, and she gave and the whole thing start. So I start to race, but it was very professional. I work in my go-kart and then with friends, and to get a little bit more serious. And I won. I went to university, and when I was 18 years old, I got as a gift to go to the university, and but I was so in on the streets that I crash over the sidewalks and make like racing on the streets. But a friend of mine convinced my parents that they should racetrack, before I got hurt, before else. So
Wow.
that's the whole thing start. My opening of the Rio de Janeiro circuit in September of 1997.
Right.
And so I did a state championship, and then in '79 it became the stock car championship in Brazil, because it was then all Chevrolet, called Chevrolet Opala, like 6 cylinders in line, and youngest in the championship, and I finished fourth. They was like I won race, considered the youngest and the revelation, and one of the drivers more Giafone. No, Felipe Giafone. He is convinced my parents that I need to do Formula Ford because I have potential, and so it's a single seat in my life, and
Wow.
no, but it's better lose time here in Brazil. I think you should go, and that when I went to England.
Wow.
without speaking, without run of a single seater, and quite difficult at the beginning.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, obviously you've raced in the stock cars, but then you don't speak any English. You're going to race in Formula Ford in the UK. Obviously it's a completely different. It's a completely different country, obviously. We're nowhere near as cool as the Brazilians, you know that.
I actually didn't know what expected. Was much hard than I need to achieve. If not, it will be like a year and go back to do that.
Yeah, just sort of see, just kind of see how it goes. So you came over here. Excuse me. Why was it the UK? Did it just feel like that was the place to be? Obviously, with Formula Ford and Formula 3 being,
yes,
like
because it's at the time very popular. I myself wasn't even, everybody follow steps. The Brazilians follow steps of Elson Piquet and then Chico Serra. Alfonso Giafoni, he was a friend of Chico Serra, and then he spoke with him, and Chico was in the race for, and then Alfonso talked with Chico, see if Demon could find a place for me, and then the whole thing. Chico brought me a contract, which was, so many races, the price, and that's I sold my all the parts and so on, and my mechanic at the time is both of it. Nobody knew these two guys from Curitiba, south of Brazil. We run very well. So the guy that bought the Queen buy if Rosinei come together. That's the whole thing work. And actually, Rosinei today is number one team manager. He has his team and won the most races and did all the stock car races since '79 in Brazil.
So he's like a legend.
One way, and he is a legend. A nickname called Meinha. Everybody knows him by Meinha. So the big championships he won, and he's still active. We're still friends.
Wow.
It was a great meet him when you can, or read is interesting.
Wow. Brilliant.
And
been for so long.
But my last race in Brazil in stock car, the Formula One race in 1980. So they left the last race of the preliminary of January of '80, and I was on the front row, and Ernie Eccleston walking to see the grid, and in the time I already signed to and have the contract to go to England. And I thought we were going to see me in Formula One, and I couldn't believe it. Maybe too fast.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of didn't take long. I mean, it's sort of nice to sort of be on one side of the fence, thinking I'm going to be there one day. But it didn't take very long, as you say. I mean, that first season was it 1980? We got here, Formula Ford, the 1600. Did you have any expectations going into that season, or was it just a case of new country?
It was a case of I need to learn as quick as possible. From the beginning, even to make this Ford was difficult, because when you're in a saloon, you sit you see everything, and then when you want to make the seat in the single, you need to go down and down and down. But I said no, that's it. Basically the wheels I couldn't see. No, and I need to see something. So my first test was in Snetterton, and I couldn't speak anything. So if the car was under steer, I just stop and make a sign. If I oversteer, so the following day I wake up, I couldn't move my neck. Why? So then after I understand, because I was too high on the car, so it's a lot of wind. So I start to lower the seat. I make 3, 4, 5 seats until I understand, because especially Formula Ford, you need to let the wind go. Because was the start. So going to the mechanics, to the pub around the corner from Van Diemen, to read the menu. And sometimes at the beginning, I just saw what I want that, and I I choose a main course as so the mechanics they laugh together. So just to pretend that I was thinking, I was understanding what they. So took me, I think 2-3 months really understand. I had a friend, Carlos Abdallah, that was raised. He make a dictionary for me, like to English, like the damper, shock absorber, springs, understeer, oversteer,
all the things you need to know.
All the things I need to know. So and then basically I learned with that, and read the Auto Sport magazine dictionary on the side. So I start to, and I really understand when I start to understand the lyrics on the music on the radio. And took me 2-3 months to learn the circuit. Familiar with the fortune, and then I start to win races. So the big top 5, top 6, top 4, but and then after I get the hang of it, was good.
Yeah. Wow.
I had good races.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people don't realise that it's difficult off track as well as on track, but that's a different kind of story. But you said that you won a couple of races. I've got here that you were, excuse me, that you took wins. Where are we? You came runner up in the you came runner up in the Formula Ford series to like Tommy Byrne, who's a interesting fellow. He's
actually Tommy Byrne is the one. He picked me up in Attleboro. A friend of my father, my parents go there and said he arrive there. Gonna get a cab. Can you receive him? He said, yeah, sure. So I slept one night there. The next day, he Nelson, his name, Nelson King, took me to the rail station and put him on the train, right? So it was like maybe the train leave. So was nobody inside. So I have to. So I'm gonna leave, kind of moving a bag with a helmet, backpack. So was nobody on the train. So I put one inside, and one in the seat in front. Nobody there. So 3 minutes for the train to leave. Look, certainly fill it up. Then 2 guys come and sit in this bag in the top. I said, yeah, sure. put in the top. So the train. So after maybe 15 minutes, come the officer to.
Yeah.
And I gave my ticket, and he said, I said, yeah. And I was like, shit, what he said, you know. Two guys, he looked that I was a tourist, suntan from Brazil, you know. This was January in London, and he said by mimics, they see that I couldn't speak any. So he ran up, picked up the pointed to me, and picked up the others, and he just make a sign, go. So I cross maybe 4 or 3 times. I go in, you know, I start sweat cold, you know, because I said, what the? And the guy go, keep going. So in a wagon that was pretty much empty, he said, sit here, look now. When you start to stop in Attleboro, because every station the train slowed down where it's going. So when it stopped, I throw all my bags out, and then I look. So then I understood what's happened, because the wagon the stop on that platform, because it was so small, the station, that I was in the wrong place. So
you go the wrong way.
So and then who came to pick me up? So imagine, I don't speak any English. Imagine with an Irish accent. Was really funny.
Difficult enough for English people.
We became good friends after. Really, he's.
Wow, that's brilliant.
A character.
Wow. Amazing. So he picked you up, but obviously he won the championship that year. But that's fine, no problem.
Well, you know, then I raced in 2 championships, which was the Royal Automobile Club and the Thousand Torrents.
Yeah.
So the Thousand Torrents, second to Roberto Moreno. Moreno was in his second year. RAC, I missed 1 race because it was conflict with Thousand Torrents, and then the last race was in Snetterton, and can win the championship. And then I start on the pole, and then we fight the whole race, Moreno, Tommy, and I. And Moreno was winning, Tommy second. Last lap, Moreno kind of let Tommy go by. And so then the championship finished, I think it was Tommy with 57 and myself with 57. And decide, so go to the best results.
Right.
Who win and so on, was exactly the same. So the RAC to decide who won the championship, and they give to Tommy, because Tommy helps did the faster lap on the last race and didn't have point for. So Tommy won the championship with his 57 points, and I finished second. that was the deal, kind of, but that was it.
So he basically,
and Moreno should win. He finished 3rd, but because of that he finished 4th. So
so Tommy basically
was a good year.
Like Tommy basically won the championship with 1 lap, 1 fast lap.
Exactly. He won exactly half a lap with the same.
Just sounds like
points,
Tommy, doesn't
he didn't win. He didn't. he won, but I didn't lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely. Fantastic. I've just seen a comment actually popping up. Just gonna take a little sidestep. We've got like one of your DJ friends. I might not pronounce his surname correctly, but it's Ricky. Is it Ricky Pace? Is it? He said he's a DJ.
Ricky Price.
He's a Ricky
Yeah,
Pace.
yeah.
Ricky, yeah, he's tuning in. So hello, Ricky. And he said that he's also he's also a car pilot sometimes. So we like that. But
great. Hello, Ricky.
he's tuning in. Good stuff.
Good.
So yeah, from Formula Ford, you've moved into the British Formula 3 Championship, which obviously at the time was for a number of years a really strong championship. You know, Ayrton Senna came through it, and many others, Hakkinen and later all those guys. Must have been exciting to move to there, especially in the Rolt RT4 car, which was a very cool car, wasn't it?
Yes, but most of the teams use the route. March, of course, with the South African. I forgot his first name, but Mike White, I think. Yeah. Ritassa, he started in the Argo, then he moved to route, and Alvin Fish. So many good drivers. I started a little bit late on the pre-season. To find a sponsor is always hard and always late, but anyhow. So even with not so much test, yes, and but in the beginning because he tests a lot, and so he was few races, so he won I think three or four beginning. Then we make it more difficult for him.
Yeah. got a bit closer. Yeah. I mean, was it the first time that you'd driven a wing car?
Yes.
Wow.
My team was Murray Taylor, and he watched him doing. He was confident I can do step up. He even came to Brazil to talk with sponsors and so that was
wow,
give me confidence as well, and was quite good. I won 3 races, but I think one of my best races was in Silverstone in the wet. I was starting third, and we came for the cars on the grid. And when they went to start to do start the race, the car didn't start. Oh. No way, the car wasn't starting. The grid left, and then they pushed my car to the first corner in Silverstone. And the mechanic Paul started to take the engine cover and start to see the plugs and this and the battery, and then he kind of was really the tool, and throwing the engine. Shit! And then boom, the engine started. was really like, and so we quickly put the engine cover, and I went. But by the time I line, everybody gone. The start already done. So I went when I start arrived before the long straight, the
hanger straight.
Yeah, everybody was there, and I said, "Oh gosh, should I stop and use this brand new set of rain tires, or should I go? Of course, should I go? Kamikaze. I finished the race in third, and 50 meters from Mike White, and second was Terry Tass and myself third. It was a race. So
Wow. From that start.
Frustration at the time, but was a performance was unbelievable. So
wow, that's incredible.
Yes. So what was incredible, and but it was like was over the limit all the time. Really, thinking back was really fun.
Yeah. Wow.
And then of course, then I autumn Mallory Park I won as well. I got the lap record there. That's on Pique. Wow. And the Formula One race, I finished third, more than one. And who was second? I don't remember who was second. And I was third. So, the following week was Mallory Park. I started with the pole, he's second, first corner, he got in front. I had a good start, but somehow so after the race, I finished second. I kind of, I need him, and 1 week after came the result of the Silverstone. He was off, kind of cheating.
Yeah.
And he was disqualified from Silverstone and Mallory Park. So and then but was a good race too, and I got pissed off in Mallory Park, right?
As
but it was great. And I finished top 3 because the championship was the top 3 has a test at McLaren Formula One.
Okay, so the top 3 got right. Okay, it was Jonathan Palmer was there, wasn't it? And, yeah.
So was Jonathan Palmer, Thierry Tasson, and myself.
Right.
The test went the test went very well. I couldn't believe the first car was like at the time was the wing car, the downforce, and I couldn't even see so much difference than the Formula One. But after 30 laps, did a time that I could qualify 10th on the grid.
Wow!
So it was quite good, and the Cesars went to Alfa Romeo, and was one vacant place. Was a little. I can be the guy, but then Niki Lauda became from retired. Then you cannot. But because Joe McDonough from March was there, who else? Maurice Nunn was there, watching and have the opportunity with March.
Right.
Which
right.
was should I take it, or should I try one more year in Formula 3? Kind of impossible to find sponsor, so expensive. I guess I went for it.
Well, why not? I mean,
but
it kind of feels like a big jump. Obviously, you've only done 1 year in a wing car, and then that Niki Lauda fella comes along and takes McLaren. But then, but you went for it with March.
It was in January of 1980. I was in I say October, November of 1981. I was testing the McLaren.
Wow.
Yeah.
Less than 2 years.
So that was quick. Well, maybe two. And can you imagine? Then I went to March. I need to pre-qualify races, so it was going okay. In Brazil, my 17th, which was the best qualified for me and Jochen here. Then I have my first race was in South Africa, strike of the drivers. I don't know.
Of course, yeah, the Kyalami thing with yeah.
The youngest guy knew was myself, Guerrero, who else?
But I actually spoke with Roberto Guerrero about 3 weeks ago about this, and he said, "I can't believe this. What's going on?"
Yeah. For him, was even the worst because when he arrived back on Saturday, Morris didn't pack his car, so he wasn't there anymore. But I remember inside this bus to go to the hotel, and Jonas said, if you not get out of this bus, your contract is finished in Formula One.
Wow.
I said, oh my God. And then Gilles Villeneuve inside, they want to break the strike, of the drivers, but state with the most experienced drivers will up on you guys, and we don't let this happen. So again, I said, oh, I'm with you guys. So and everybody stay all night, all day, all night in the hotel. And the next day, finally, they Didier Pironi and Niki Lauda achieved a certain agreement with Balestre.
Yeah.
So everybody went there without wash your teeth and qualify. I think I started 21st.
Yeah,
and finished the race
ahead of Jochen, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Was an achievement, but so was a lot of qualify on the first day. I think it was 25th. With using my first set of tires, I was out, and I put another set, and Joe McDonald, we need to qualify. Do whatever. I don't know what you're gonna do, but a new sponsor with Rotman just came in. You, the Brazilian driver, I don't know. And I was like, it was hot in Rio de Janeiro, summer.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I need a little bit more real wing. And I said, okay, I'm going to do for you. But that's it. So I went out. So I started on those tires was so soft that you need to go slow on the opening lap and the lap, the last corner before I start the lap, you need to floor out and leave that just you have a lot more grip.
Yeah.
So make the first race was like, man, it was like maybe 500, 600 revs up previous lap. So I started to do the lap, and I was more. I said, shit. So, and then on the longest straight, I remember exactly warming up, and he saw me on the mirrors and started to speed it up. So he didn't want anybody to ahead of him. I said, no way. So I ended up like out breaking him on the corner side of the circuit. I finished the lap, and I tried to do another one, but already the tires was, and I see the time, when I see the time, I said, no, it must be wrong. Something wrong. Must be wrong. So when I come in the pits, finish that lap, so looked like the whole team was from no start to seven was
Wow.
amazing. So
That's incredible. I mean,
and that you know, have in my mind look like I'm doing right now.
wow. That must have been fantastic, especially in your home Grand Prix as well, and to qualify
Yeah.
seventh. Obviously, the
There
race.
the,
Sorry.
the race was very bad after
Yeah, it has spin, isn't it? The
I
spin.
think fifth or sixth lap, the rear tire blew up at the end of the straight. So not room. So
Disappointing.
was no very remember just the qualify.
Yeah, we'll stick to qualifying. Yeah, much happier memory. I mean that year, you took ninth at Long Beach and eighth in Zolder, which was obviously like encouraging. You know, obviously points were only 1 to 6, but it must have given you some encouragement, even if the car wasn't that quick on a race day.
Yes, is due to as a comparison. Maybe 4, 5, 6 races went to test in Silverstone, and I was, you know, a lot more, you know, confident on the car, one to the power, to the grip. I was slower than the 30 laps I did at McLaren.
Really?
That's the difference in cars, you know.
Wow, that's amazing. So like a race ready March was slower than the McLaren test. Wow.
Yeah, more risks, you know, because on my test I was like not on my limit, you know, impossible. And in special, you know, I need to be very spin or do something wrong and test the McLaren. It'll be like done with. But that was the difference. And then get worse because just we and just before Monaco, even without any test, to go to Avon tires, which was from radial to cross ply. I didn't qualify. Jochen didn't qualify. You know, problems.
Yeah.
So unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it was tough then.
Yeah, it's a tough year, but obviously some things you couldn't control. There's a couple of things I do want to mention though about the year. You had you mentioned Chico Serra was kind of helpful to you initially, but you had an argument with him in Canada.
Yeah.
We've seen the video footage, and it's a proper.
Yeah.
What happened? Because I've only heard it in Portuguese, so I don't know.
No, what's that? Today I'm joke with him. It was our in Formula One.
Is it the most memorable? Yeah.
Yeah, that everybody know us because of this. So what's happened is in qualify, and when you finish the lap, because the tires was so became bubbles on the tires, and you cannot go fast. You know, it's like you like in dry tires in the wet almost. Right. So past the pits in Canada has a little left hand and just up to. So I look in my mirror and I saw Keck Rosberg come. I left a space, so he went by, but I need to do the corner. So and then the next corner is just, you know, it turned right. So I tried. I see in my mirror like a car was there, you know, and so I tried to stay out of. Unfortunately, I kind of do any help for Chico, but wasn't in purpose. So the pits, and then he came to the pits, and he get out of the car, take his helmet, throw on the floor, and run into. So the cameraman see that and said, "Oh, something going on," and he just out of the car with my helmet, and she, what the fuck, you ruined my lap right behind Keke and blah blah blah. I said, Chico, if he was right behind Keke, if I was in purpose, went in your front, we crashed.
Yeah.
I didn't do in purpose. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. He turned around and kicked my helmet. So I said, I kicked him, and he turned back. What do you say?
You punched it, yeah.
I tried, and he moved back. I went to straight, so he picked me up, and you know, I don't know the names. My English went to very rusty.
But you
so yeah, he couldn't let me go, and then my mechanic
had you got
to hit him and then my ex-wife was screaming. Emerson was there screaming, and then but this day
wow.
he qualified, right? So the next day, normally everybody fine, but moved back one position, I think, or two, qualify, and he stay out of the grid. He didn't qualify because he didn't improve enough. Yeah. So, but I'm nothing to do, right? so on Friday he was on the grid, and at the time we have more cars than the grid, right? So he didn't qualify. Then sitting the grid, Ricardo Paletti was right behind me. And me said, well, this I think his second race that because he need to pre-qualify. He pre-qualified and then qualified.
Yeah.
And then I thought with me doesn't want to overtake 5 cars on the first turn. So we start the race, and I was like putting certainly. I think it was of me. I think it was Jacques Lafitte or something.
Yeah.
And he go to the left, and it was a Ferrari stop right there. Didier Pironi. So was a time for me to go left as well. The left, my front right touched the left rear of Didier. The spinning, and he went straight back. I got out of the car and I saw it, and I already saw him with his and people running, and then certainly the car was really terrible. You know, everyone in panic. You know, the cars was very. And then I even raced. I got the spare car. Wow. This was one situation that year. The other situation was in Zone
with Gilles.
So the same Jochen was did his lap. And was coming slow. There has like a place that you go up and down in a fast. So Jochen was in the middle of the road. He moved to the right to give space for Villeneuve to perfect line to go. But Villeneuve was so much faster than I too. So he touched the rear, and that was it. So always these tires, because you only have of tires, and the tires basically do one leg.
Right.
And was you almost kill yourself. And then the qualifying stop was red flag. I was just putting new set off the grid at the time with my first set. Wow. And must stay quite maybe, I don't know, 40 minutes. I'm sitting in the car. I said, well, Raul, was a bad accident to Villeneuve. I don't think he's gonna drive again. But we need to qualify.
Right. You've got to get back to business.
Yeah. Back to business. I went and qualified. So finished 8th, you said, I think, in the race.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Which is it's a nice way to end the weekend, but it was an awful weekend for everyone, and especially for Jochen. Obviously, he was your teammate, and I mean, he left the team, didn't he? After he had an accident, was it in France? And after that, and he just walked away, didn't he?
In Paul Ricard, he has an accident with the Baldi at the end of the straight, and his car wings almost to the public. And after that, he said, "Well, I need some rest."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, such a nice guy. I learned a lot. He kind of put me under his wing, and we changed a lot. I get more for him than I can give. When I was quick, he even see what was doing the car. Aiden Rayner was the engineer in the mid-season at the factory, and his desk, his in his parking lot.
Oh, yeah. His space.
Then he got fired. Shit. Joe McDonald, the character, right? He was funny.
Wow.
But,
it's nice to have a smile at the end of the 1982 season. Obviously, it wasn't the best for F1, but that's that's good. That's good stuff.
And then here, so what should I do? What opportunities I had? So I Ligier, looking for a driver and some sport. I was invited to test for Kentiro.
Okay.
I went to Port, and I arrived there. Before he showed me a contract that was like he could a drive. I cannot drive for anybody else. So I was basically need to wait. He's gonna test all the drivers, so to do the same contract. Then I'm stuck, if I sign a contract, I want to be like looking back. I should the test,
Yeah.
And then fight after.
Yeah, fight with
for
the other
fighting.
guys.
But I was like with Ligier, with at the time was kind of same level,
Yeah.
Anyway, but then I went up with Ligier. With my contract said I need to speak French, so I went
of course
to live in Vichy. So here again we start with a dictionary. Understeer is subvirage, oversteer subvirage, and I start see they work on the back. I said no, the car is understeer. At the beginning was a kind of, but I ended up learning French with stay happy. And teammate with Jarry wasn't the best situation.
Yeah, Jarry.
And so they make that car a good looking car, but not so good. Plus, very close to Jarry all the time. But in the race, disappeared for me, and I was kind of I was going why this and that, complaining the team. Silverstone Grand Prix for change tires. I go out and was a second, and change a second and a half quicker than my laps, the previous laps. You know what's happened? Jarry broke, so they put his tires on my car. Then why? Yeah, why
he had the better
so much
tires
faster than myself? Because was a fight between the manufacturers was ready, and Michelin was developed tires for the turbo cars. Was the Boesel. Already there was 300-400 horsepower less, and about time that time has maybe 10 cars, you know, and then have the Boesel cars. And so then I realized, like, going crazy and didn't understand why didn't have enough tires to the small teams. And of course, Jarry, how can you compete with that?
Well, yeah.
I remember exactly. I came out of the pits and Alboreto was. We fight for a long time, and he couldn't overtake me, and even man, you going great. You know, it was a great race until my engine. Plus, the car when it was smooth tracks was good. A suspension developed by Citroën.
Okay, right.
With was the car should stay in the same level from full tank, and so stay very close to the floor. And once the car didn't have shock absorbers, and it has kind of a sphere with through the information, you know, and understand. But on not smooth, it was really bad, and they keep fight with this. They couldn't go back with the regular suspension, and then at the end of Andrea de Cesar went to test the car, and he said, "Did throw this thing to the garbage."
It was just,
they make a new car. So
wow.
And then was what should I do now? You know, no chance in Formula One, was far from be good. You know, also even harder when you don't your results as kind of. So then I went to look some other to the United States IndyCar.
Right. Okay. Is it?
But
I mean, just on that. I mean, someone asked a question about was there ever a possibility of going with Fittipaldi for 83? Someone's asked that question. I don't know if it was anything that was going to.
No, not really. Schick was there, and they didn't have a sponsor too, and the team was going down. You know what I mean? So,
right.
And I offer from Emerson. Emerson never spoke with me about it.
Okay, fair enough. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But so yeah, obviously F1 was kind of finished with. There was no real opportunity to be at the top end, as you say. But
Right.
IndyCar, you ended up being there. I make it 17 seasons, which is a long time. How did the move? Because I love IndyCar. Anyone who's tuned into these chats will know that I always bring up IndyCar because it's not so big over here in the UK, but I absolutely love it. I've always said it's the best racing out there, and I'll stick by that. And to
Well,
get
and that was 1984, right? So I started to go to the races and introduce, and some teams they so focus on IndyCar, they pay attention to Formula One.
yeah,
And sometimes and this and that never happened. And I stay in a frame, so I go to the races with my curriculum under my arm to talk with the team manager, and this is the worst things, manager at the time. So it didn't happen. I ended up doing some races they call Formula 2 South America, which was the first Brazilian to win, but it was like go to Formula 1 to a tubular chassis, and it's like more. But anyhow, I was doing some races, making $500 a race. My wife got pregnant and stayed in Curitiba, come to the races, give part of the money, go back to New York so nothing happened all year. So I went back to Brazil, Christmas. It has a team called Dick Simon.
yeah,
And I look at it, was one of the smallest teams in the IndyCar. See that was a team that struggled all the time, and actually Dick Simon. So I called of 1985, and I was in New York, and he said, "Oh, it's a coincidence. I go to New York. We can have some coffee." You're so persistent that I want to talk maybe for the future and this and that. I said, okay. So I went chat, and then he said, well, in a week, gonna test the new car. It was in March in River California, and I'll let you do some laps in the car. I said, great. So I had this friend. His name is John D'Amato. Actually, took me to New York, and because we met, and he went to do some racing in Formula, and so on. We became friends. He has a traveling company, so he gave me the tickets to go to the race. So you sit down and start to make money. You pay your account here. I said, oh, all right. Anyhow, I went to the airport. The airline ticket at the time was like a paper ticket, and a company called 99 Express was 200 front desk. I said, no. I arrived there, get to the front desk. Said, I have a seat, everything. I said, did you see these 200 people here, 300? It's like, so the flight is complete oversold. So that put another flight. I supposed to arrive there. Maybe it was 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, I'm gonna arrive late, but I stay in a hotel and the next day because he told me he was going to pick me up at the airport. So I pick you up at the airport. I end up arrived there at 1 o'clock in the morning. He picked me up in San Francisco, close to Long Beach, in Hathaway. San Juan Capistrano named the place. So he said, you mind to stay in the couch on the... I said, no, of course, and I have no money, you know. No. Okay, because tomorrow we going to test. I said, okay. So I arrived on his couch. And then the following day, wake up and was ready for March. See that they have a lot of trouble with the gearbox. That don't go up, so the marches start to blow up the gearbox. We need to redo it, but this will take, and you have the parts back. I said, shit, what should I work? Maybe he didn't call me back to do the test. And he said, well, if you don't mind. I said, fine. Yes, a son and a daughter, but they have their rooms. Well, I don't mind if you mind staying in the couch. I said, no, okay. So end up that I was the first to go to bed, so to know not get in the way of the family and like me and his wife Diane, the paperwork and for the team and so on. So March, 5 days, 10 days, 15 days. So I stay in the couch for 25 days. Finally arrived the day for the test. So when the test is go, that he promised the test to. I work as a mechanic as well. It's the same. It's called Mike Nish, but not the same Mike Nish. So we went to Riverside and to the club circuit, and an engineer. They only have a chief mechanic. So they use just the club circuit of the track. Was even quick enough to put top gear. So he started to test. So imagine the car was a V8, 800 horsepower. So my Formula One had maybe at the time, and it was a year that I was on drive, right? A fast car. So he did some laps and then something, and they do that again, stop, did something, and then I said, can I give a little advice to say about the car? I said, well, what do you think? Well, why don't try this? Or just start to improve. So every time he stopped, he started asking, what should I do? What should he do? Anyhow. No, then he improved the time. Then he put Mike Nish on the car, and the guy wasn't very experienced, so he spin and missed. And I said, "Oh my God, you're gonna break this car before I'm gonna test." So I 5 minutes to go, so I got in the car, and was like, "What I'm doing here." Man, so much power, and I did, get used to the track and to the car, and then I stopped and went again, and then was like go and said, well, can I do a long run? Just whatever. I started to run. After 8 laps, they said, come in. I do something wrong, but I come in and I said, no, that's good enough. No, because you are already 2 seconds quicker than Dick Simon. I said, well, really?
Quicker than
It's
the
not
bar.
because I'm a Superman. Not because I'm a Superman. Good in road courses, right? So okay. So the first race of the championship was Long Beach. 84 car there. The way finish the race in Phoenix, I convinced him to put the 84 car because
Right.
I know this circuit. You know, I raced 2 years there in Formula One, 82, 83. Nobody really developed the march, especially because in road course you not do much difference, you know, between the two cars. So yeah, you have a point. Let's do it. Okay, I said you don't need to pay me anything. You know, he wasn't going to pay. He has no budget. I said okay. So the first day was on the grid. The second day during qualify was top 10, and Giles was a really famous IndyCar driver.
Yeah.
Just during qualify, I just touched him and broke the front wing, the left front suspension, which was very repairable. Nothing major. And he didn't qualify with the new car.
Right.
So what? Okay, you're gonna drive my car for the race. By the way, possible to change cars there, but you need to start last. It was all the Duracell at the time.
Yeah.
And so he went there. Different sponsor was a brake free, something like WD-40 that is they trying to. So I went there, meet the president, the vice president. And, they said, well, they happy that they saw qualify, but to start at the back, Dick said, no, it will be good, anyhow. Dick was running top 5, that at the time I was 8, differential broke.
Oh.
So because the mechanics doing nothing there in the shop during the parts for the gearbox came, they took apart to see how it was working, put the right pressure on the so that's broke. So but then the people from Duracell was happy the back and competitive and overtaking people and blah blah blah, running a good pace. The race was in Indianapolis. So went there. He said, "Oh, I let you do the rookie. Maybe another team can pick you up. You know, see that here we went to Indianapolis. Mike Nish and myself to do the rookie test. Dick set up the car, safety, a lot of downforce and so on. So Mike Nish didn't went so well, blow up the engine. Then I went and the rookie test like easy. So he said, well, at the time he's receiving the second 85 car, said I qualify. If I qualify well and like they say, they're solid in the grid, qualify on the second weekend, and that's what's happened. I start to on the second week and qualify. I think I did it the 21st time because of the way Indies, yeah. So the race was running ninth and blew the engine. So
Yeah.
I started said, well, I started to do some races, not the whole championship. Then 84 Duracell came with the sponsor Duracell, and then to have a better. I have like of the prize money, salary with the Zinc is good, and then I stay with him at 94 in. But he was difficult guy to work, but really guy. I kind of have a love-hate affair with him. Like in the car, we work, but off the track, it was difficult. And I end up in three. That's what he was. That was 80. Yeah, that was 84. No?
480, yeah.
And then, then I went 86 with him.
That's it, yeah.
So then I brought some mechanics from Formula One. So Gilbert, a French that was working at Renault, a British guy that working Formula 3 with me. Then I start to have a little team. And then I was staying 86 and 80.
Oh, sorry. So the sound just dropped there. But yeah, you say with him in 86, and I mean, and you got your first finish at the Indy 500 in 86, which is obviously it's an achievement in itself just to get to the finish. And you had top 5 finishes. I've got here Michigan, Pocono, and places like that. And it seemed to be sort of going really quite well in 86. But then you sort of went down the sports car kind of route.
Então, what the last race of the season was Tamiami Park, and I was on the pole.
Yeah.
And I ran away at the beginning of the race, and I don't remember what's happened. I don't know if I finished or not, but anyhow. Then because of I was on the pole, and during the year I was very fast all the time, compared with the other teams with him. I received a call from Newman Haas.
Oh yeah.
That he want to talk with me. I said we met in Newark, and was him. I think Martin direct from Beatrice Food, and myself, and so he said, I want to put a second, and I want you to drive. I said, great, shit, this opportunity, now the dream of my life, and then salary, imagine, was $400,000 and 50% of the price. Man, I made it, right? So every day tell Dick Simon that I not gonna drive for him anymore next year. So we shake hands, and before I said, Mario Andretti, he agreed with this. Yeah, I decide. I just need to finish little sponsors, and but we have for sure. Okay, I went back home for Christmas and New Year. Certainly, just before Christmas, he called me. when I answered the phone, I already knew something wrong. Why? Because we said, well, in January, where is the team is, make the seat, and we make a formal contract. Okay. He said, Raul. I thought, yeah, Cal. Mario Andretti, I cannot convince one two-car team, and he has a really strong ties with Budweiser. I think it was the time, and not you can do. I said, yeah, not you can do me. Yeah. So what should I do? Sue him? No. Where I don't get anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But Autosport magazine. Actually, John was reading Autosport magazine and saw that the Jaguar in England drivers, and most of the drivers was like say, well, if you have Formula One, then we can talk about it. From the team in America, first they thought it was Bobby Rahal. Oh, Bobby Rahal. No, Raul. And Roger Simon was the team manager, and the team manager Toleman, when I drove at March Ligier, he said, "Oh, yeah, Monday we're gonna test in Paul Ricard on Thursday. Can you come?" He said, "Yeah, sure." Paul Ricard, and I arrived there on Thursday. Lunchtime, they make a seat. They give me a suit from Eddie Cheever, and was raining in the club circuit, and he was testing the Le Mans car, like the normal short track car. So in the rain, and so the following day start to I run on the other car on the long circuit. Then arrive at lunchtime, and he said, "Okay, now put the tires for Eddie, and Eddie do 20 laps." Okay, so nobody sees. So now put the new set of tires to Raul, and same thing. So I did the 20 laps, and Eddie was really, at the time they already signed, was testing there to so I get out of the car, and he said, "Come here." We sit in his rental car, and he said, "Look, you went fast and few. I said, "Yeah, sure, mine." So okay, he paper, and then we did a preview sign. So that's now we go to the factory, and then we go see your measurement for suit, proper contract, take to the lawyers, and blah blah blah. So I said, "Great." He said, "I will pay £5 per race." Right? So I have nothing, and so probably the best thing I ever drove, and then so I test again in silver as well, and then they decided we put together with Eddie, and so just before the season started, you receive an offer from Arrows, and then let him go. So I put somebody else to drive with me, with the I think 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 races. I didn't know exactly what to expect, and taking the story short, end up winning the championship by myself.
That's
So
amazing.
was incredible. And then then I have an offer for back to IndyCars.
Yeah.
And this, please, can you wait before you do something from Benetton at the time? We interested, and maybe you can drive for us. And Terry Booth, and then they start to can you wait another week? And Doug Sherson was like say, I cannot wait anymore. Raul Jr. went to Penske.
Yeah.
So you need to this. It's better.
You had to make a decision.
It's better decide, and I think I did the right decision. Ended up signed Tel Fabio. I didn't see at the time Benetton without
Yeah.
So then I went back to the United States, and I still did some Jaguar along the way. So the following, like January, Daytona, we won Daytona.
Yeah, that was Martin Brundle, wasn't it? And Nielsen.
Yeah, and Brundle.
That's that's a
great.
cool race. Yeah.
And
being in that car on Daytona must have been amazing.
Yes, was great. It was the same car was from the World Championship.
Oh, right.
And then for March for Jaguar in 91, did Le Mans 88. That year we finished in Le Mans. Myself, Eddie, the race, Lammers come help us because his car broke down.
Yeah.
So, but 91 was good because prepare in England and one car prepare in United States was the IMSA team. Was me and American driver called David Jones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was the complete jackets, the 3 from England and 1 from America. So David Jones, myself, and Michel Ferté, and we ended up be the best car on the grid of the Jags, was 11th. All the time fighting between us and the other cars, and arrive we running first, and we do a pit stop. We go first. Probably we because of the weight of the car. Remember, like almost 200 kilos less. So Jaguar made a big more consume. So we can keep the pace, but we use the fuel that is allowed.
Yeah.
So then arrive a time that need to conserve fuel. If not, we're not gonna finish. Not then we need to back off.
Right. Yeah, to save the fuel to get to the end.
So then in 91, the other result good with Jaguar was in downtown Miami, but that was with the turbo car.
Oh, the turbo, right? The turbo machine.
Yeah, it was a great race. It was a single driver, 2-hour race, and the last lap I was leading, and Toby Kendall in the Intrepid was on my tail. Team said this is the last lap, and when I arrived to get the checkered flag, wasn't more to go.
Oh, it was a what?
And my car, my car then was big. I drove only in my mirrors because I have no tires anymore, really. But was a hard. I won the race. Was great, and I
It's a
was
hard-earned
a
win.
home guy too because so was was a great victory.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that, just driving in the mirrors, because there's nothing else you can do, you know. It's wow. And
Other good
yeah, obviously
races
nice
like
one.
89, 89 India. I finished using a Judd engine. That famous crash between Emerson. Remember that? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
last
Sorry, we
lap.
just had a little jump there. Yeah, that's it.
Last lap, Al Junior. If Emerson crashed, I was going to win the race.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
No, no, that was a famous moment, wasn't it? That one. Yeah. Oh,
Your voice cracking up. I don't know if it's just for me.
is it cracking? Are we okay?
Your voice is cracking up.
Okay, I'm going to try the speakers here. I'm just going to try the sound.
Okay.
It happens sometimes. Yeah. Oh, let's just try that one.
Yeah, better. It's better.
Better? Okay, good. No, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
good.
I love I love all these stories of individual races. It's great. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about so many things. I mean, one thing I do want to just sort of go.
Yeah, I can't. But go ahead.
No, it's great. It's great. I love it. There's so many things we can talk. I mean, this because of your career, but I mean, something I wanted to touch on was, oh crikey, where were we? Yeah, on your return to IndyCar, that first season, 88. You finished 8th in the championship, but the only drivers ahead of you were Danny Sullivan, Al Unser Jr., Bobby Rahal, Rick Mears, and the two Andretti's. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing, isn't it? You know, I mean, guys like that,
Yeah.
and you were close to them. I mean, you know, having
Yeah.
proved that you could do it in F1, you could do it in sports cars, and you could come back to IndyCar and perform like that. Must have been pretty, you know, like a pretty,
It
pretty
was
big
good,
positive boost.
then I drove for Dick's. It's 88, 88 and 89, and I had, but then he lost one sponsor, Coca-Cola, and then behind my back, actually, he Arie Luyendyk, and Arie Luyendyk has a sponsor, and so he broke the contract and the engine, and then Luyendyk said, "Oh, I have the sponsor, but I want the and then okay, Dog went to Chevrolet engine, and I set up for Indy and won the race. And I was without a ride, you know, and I think 1990. Shit, I don't know. I top of my mind.
I can't remember.
I think I drove for Dick Simon again. 92. I remember I was looking for a ride, and I think Hiro Matsuda broke his foot. I think and then I jumped on his plane and qualified well and finished 7th in the race. And I find some sponsors in Brazil, and I did the rest of this season second in Detroit to was maybe Bobby, because
I think it was Bobby
the following
Rahal.
year I finished second to Bobby, and did the whole season. Then and then they'll decide to come back because Duracell leaves. When he saw I come back, Duracell went back to the. I was able to get a good on the team.
Yeah.
And then do some development. So
I think the fact that you could survive the 1992 Indy 500 without hitting the wall or have someone hit you, I mean, that's probably what helped you get a sponsorship in Brazil. Probably they thought, well, if he can survive that, because it was a crazy race, wasn't it? It was
many crashes.
Yeah, I mean, I said I had like Roberto Guerrero on a few weeks ago, and I had to ask him about what happened. And he said, even today, I don't know. I mean, it was just one of those crazy. I mean, obviously, you know, was it Jovi Marcello who was lost very sadly, but PK had a crash, the Andretti's crashed, Danny Sullivan, Emerson Fittipaldi, that everyone seemed to crash, and you just sort of just picked your way through into seventh.
It's easy to know why he crashed. You know, his first was very cold. Those Menard engines thing, and we set up the car that fixed the back. So if you take your hand out of the car by himself. So the car is set up to help do the corner, right? Tires, a lot of power, so he just tried to warm the tires and us took him completely by surprise. So it's thing, you know, it's easy to appoint Guerrero. He made a big mistake. Yeah, those cars were so much power more than the Cosworths, and that's when in 4 Penske came with the same rules on the engine and more than everybody.
Yeah,
but 93 was the race stick in my mind. You know, I qualified in the front row. Was Lion Dyke. Start the race. I got in the front, seconds ahead in 17 laps, and then came a yellow flag. Here, they changed the rules that if a yellow come, the pace car pick up the leader. Okay, so everybody slowed down. Pace car picked me up. Opened the pits. Pits was in the middle of the straight, and Mario was the last one to go out. So after that yellow line, you cannot overtake during the yellow. So at the time, 100 miles the speed on the pits. So I did my stop was came 100 miles, and Mario, he just so we pass was right on the yellow. Of course, I finished overtake him after the yellow, but on the yellow was together. But I was 100. So Mario come by my side. He keep going to the back. I keep talking with my team. Said Mario, so I need to stay behind him. No, we speak here and everything is fine. And Mario keep going and said, and I go like this. No. Until I say, okay, but 3 or 4 times, you pretty sure? Yes. So the green came, I slapped on the start, Mario overtook me. So I stayed really good. Then came in the radio, Raul, you need to do it. I said, what the fuck,
Yeah.
So okay, I came out of the pits, made the pits, the stop and go, come out of the pits. Okay, I'm almost a lap down. So I went out, went 400 miles after. I was on the team called me, was green. Okay, come in. A yellow come. Time to go back to the track. So I go in, we make the stop. My team said, Raul, man, we fine. We lead in the race, and they need. So I overtook everybody. Everybody was pretty much leading the race. Stop, leading the race with one pit ahead, and it was the last stop. And the pace car again, and they said, well, Raul, you need to do a driving cam because you should not stop on the green. They go do one more lap, but we didn't have fuel anyway to do one more lap. The team let me go until looking back, I should stop 1 or 2 laps.
Sure.
So I said, okay, well, did this start? I came in, I came out in 12. I came, boom. Muncie was leading, Lion Dyke, Emerson, Lion behind. Then came another yellow, and have a back mark pace car, and Emerson, because I like Emerson the restart. So I saw the back market, and I came in the radio, said they overtaken the back, which is forbidden. Is known, and was a French guy. Forgot now. When he didn't understand, it was his first year. He didn't do anything. So finally, and I said, I'm gonna stay with them. Said, no, don't overtake him because we have stop and goes or 2 penalties, and they're gonna be penalized because to overtake the back market. I said, you sure? So pace car start to speed it up. They start to speed, and I go beside the French guy. Go together, and he didn't go. So I'm not allowed to overtake. So I need to start with the green cam. So I was the whole straight behind. I caught, and then was time to overtake. So I finished 4th. But was 3 teams.
It was the penalty was the one.
They need to have a penalty. The first penalty was not happen, and they have supposed to have a penalty. But you're gonna fight with Newman Haas and Penske.
It's not going to happen, is it?
So but that was the true race. Everybody say like in my the resume of this race, I overtook everybody. Nobody overtook me, and I finished 4th.
It was 4th. It was how?
How?
I do remember watching that race. I mean, we couldn't watch it live here in the UK, but I remember watching it back, thinking about you, thinking
that was the story.
This guy is not having any luck today. It was just one of those days. It was. I've just realised the name of the French guy. Was it Gregoire? Gregoire, was it him? Gregoire.
No.
Gregoire.
Gregoire. Yeah. Stephen Gregoire.
Yeah.
Stephen Gregoire. Yes.
Yeah, I remember Oh,
That's,
it was,
that's
yeah,
terrible.
that feels like a race that should have gone your way. And
Yes.
obviously, you
Yes.
obviously feel like it should as well. But as you say, with Penske and Newman Haas in the way, yeah.
No, definitely they told me with this that the official said they cannot. I don't know if they confused and thought that was a lap down or not. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I suppose
Anyhow.
enough time has passed, isn't it? It's 30 years, I suppose, but still frustrating. If it's any consolation, I still think that was your best looking car that year. That was a brilliant looking car. The Duracell.
Yes, that's great. And
brilliant.
And when the car is fast, look it.
yeah.
The following race was, and we have different fences, the front wheel, and so I was on pole 6/10 of a second. I think it was pole trace a second.
Wow.
In a 1 mile oval, 1 mile on the last 20 seconds, I was 6/10 quicker than everybody.
That's a long way.
I was flying, and then that is nobody can believe it. He said he going to disappear. So I was fast, but on Saturday has the same flex on this car. I don't know how he has that, because it's our development. We're supposed the only to have this. So not on Mario's car. Only so I don't know how he get the part. In the race, what happened was maybe I don't know. So and 20 laps is in 1 mile is like seconds. 10 minutes. I don't.
Yeah.
So I think he was like 7 or 8. I was leading the race. Stopped because I think Emerson was second. Because everybody has fuel until the end. So they strategy. Maybe this work. Muscle, so they put a new set of tires. So at the end, or 2 laps to go, Muscle had better tires. I couldn't pay up. Yeah. So he overtake me 2 laps to go. Shit, it was.
That must be so frustrating. I mean, obviously, yeah, I'm going to hold my hands up. As an Englishman, I was obviously cheering for Nigel that year. Sorry.
Yeah, it was no, it was between Muscle and Emerson. But shit, man.
Yeah.
Many times.
I mean, it's not a bad place to be between those two guys, but so close to the end. Yeah. Oh,
right.
Yeah, I can imagine it must have been annoying. I think
annoying.
This English guy turning up and not good.
Exactly.
Go back.
and Newman has only went back from when Michael went to the team there to Formula 1, and so they already have 2 cars, and Nigel went back to Nigel came to IndyCar.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because he.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 94 again. I on the front row in Indy. That was a good one. That's Penske has this big engine with 3 cars. Al Jr., Emerson, and
I spoke with Al Jr. about this, and he loved it.
Yeah, in qualifying, no, they have this engine, but they kind of hide how much better. They try to not to show everybody.
Yeah, they did
how
some
much
secret
quicker
testing, didn't they? And they didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, but during qualifying, I don't remember. I did like average of 234 miles. 32. I was on pole for first for a long time, and then our junior came in the first. His first lap was like 228. 228, and then they said, "Man, speed it up, speed it up." So then from 228, you went to like 234, 235. So,
jeez.
Then you see how you cannot do that. The 4 laps, like on the limit, all the laps almost the same.
You don't
so
get
he jumped like miles, and then he got on the pole, and pole race crashed in the previous day, so he was in trouble. Emerson only the following day, so I was on the front row in the middle of a boat. So
that's a fun place to be.
The race, of course, we start the boat like I stay in the top 5 behind them for a while, and then we have oil leak like that. But good to be in the middle of boat.
Yeah, it was a interesting place to be. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, good stuff. I mean, just to fast forward a little bit. I mean, obviously the IndyCar split, the kart IRL split thing that happened. I mean, that was just a massive mess between, I don't know, two people with big egos and no common sense. It felt like it was just a real mess, wasn't it? I mean, you ended up going, was it down the IRL route, didn't you? You ended up on that side of things.
I stay with cars. But and then one more race that we speak in '94 was the Michigan 500.
Yeah.
In the front row was Nigel, myself, Michael. I was like, I think 1/10 the Nigel, and I remember my top speed was 407 kilometers an hour, and average speed 338, I think, something like. But anyhow, during the race, all the time in front, leading the race, only time top. So 15 minutes to finish the race, I was leading. Alonso Jr. was 3 seconds behind, 3 laps behind. So the people from Cosworth come to my pits and said, Raul, and then they send a message, to me. Junior, picking up the pace and start to be close. Put the 5th gear, which was maybe with the engine is running perfect. We have fuel to the end. Okay, I said. So I not even put the 5th gear. Coming out of turn 2, boof, the engine broke. So all the way just on the speed, to the pit. And I'll join another 5 laps, blow the engine, boom.
So he went as well.
Yeah. He went out. So Scott Goodyear, the race on his lap. That race was a bummer too.
Shit. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, another one so close, and it was just something that you couldn't control. Again, it wasn't anything you did. It was just something.
Then I went to Raul, and then after that we didn't do so well. We had a lot of problems with him, a lot of trouble. We running well, but don't finish. And
was it
Bob
mechanically
end up finish second? Yeah, mechanically. Thought this is bad. Then 96, I went to Team Green.
Yes, yeah.
Who was championship? I went to Williams. So I has a contact with the Brahma beer in Brazil. Someone want to be in IndyCar, and he already had a contract. I don't know, was anyhow, he was driving for, so he couldn't drive, and they need a Brazilian driving, and they have the number one because this company was the number one beer in Brazil and so on. So he convinced me to go there. The team that just won the championship. I said, "Shit, this will be my opportunity now." So Boesel did only one for me. So what's that? Tony Cicali, which was the engineer, decided to take a year off, and Barry Green decided as well go sailing. So he's ahead of the team, and Team Green, his name. So Cosworth, the engine broke in 11 races so it was a completely disaster.
You had no chance.
Going test. Then I convinced Brahma to go with this semi-budget of one car in Team Green for the two cars. So it was myself through it, and that was a good season. Then in a oval St. Louis.
Oh yeah,
St. Louis was on pole leading the race.
Gateway.
Yeah, I lead in the race, and throttle switch broke. That shit. I finished third in Portland, which was the closest finish between. At the time was Blundell and Gil was won the race. It was so close. If it was another 50 meters, I was so.
You were there.
Anyhow, was close. So close, so fast.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Again, I have to hold my hands up. Obviously, I'm English. I was wanting Mark Blundell to win that as well. I'm not deliberately cheering against you, I promise.
No.
It must be, yeah. So many races.
Brahma, and if we finish the top 10, both cars renew the contract, but decide not to continue. So they pay the fine for Patrick, and they ride. And then when I went to IRL,
right,
to swim again.
Just to to stay afloat. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't sort of. Yeah, that wasn't the most competitive year, that IRL. That was 98, wasn't it? It was just seemed everything that.
No, the team was
yeah, everything that could go wrong kind of did.
I tell you, one race. The first race, I think. Well, the first race was in Disney Speedway. And my head maybe I think was 6 years old, and I was leaving my, and she saw the team, and of course the team is very, and what she used to see in kart racing, you know, like in the structure, the mechanics, the organization, and one of them look like they came from a normal car garage to work on the car. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
every mechanic different colors, overall. You see, there was a difference. And she said, and came to me and said, "Daddy, this range," because you know, it was completely different. I said, "Yeah, yes, Gabi, but that's what we have for today."
That's it. Oh goodness.
Shit.
Oh dear. Mm. Hmm. Oh dear. I mean, I think after
the team here, huh?
yeah,
Go ahead.
I mean, after sort of that, with that team and the way that year had gone. I mean, did you start to think about, not racing so much, or like retiring or leaving IndyCar, anything like that? Was it at that time?
IndyCar, of course, but I didn't have much chance. Actually, I ended up doing for Dan Gurney on the Toyota.
Yeah, the All-American. American.
Yeah, All-American team. I did the Fontana. Another race I don't remember was. Then I have the interesting thing in. I think this was 2019. No, True Sports was 2001. I think 2001. Giafone qualified, I think 20, and on the first weekend, and then they went to test in Milwaukee. And in Indy that year, the weather normally from the first to second weekend can go much faster than the previous weekend.
Right.
But the weather went. Everybody that wasn't qualified started to go faster. So pair cars to other drivers. So they called me. I was in Brazil. They called me because they was in the situation where they need to withdraw the car before Giafone tried. So I said, well, the deal is like, if for some reason Giafone get bumped, I couldn't requalify with a spare car, and you need to give the car to him. If you race and he race, I said okay. So we went there. I qualify and easy position, couldn't get bumped out. And Giafone was trot, couldn't get to speed. So, and it started right. So for 5 minutes to close the track to qualify, 6 o'clock, try to qualify and bump him out. So I went for my 14th race, but didn't race because I need to do the car to him.
Oh.
Kind of a bummer, you know.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, another bad luck thing. Yeah.
And I think Indy, same thing. I was racing stock car. That was 2002. Car São Paulo, and then I received a call from Team Menard. His drive and broke his leg, couldn't drive. If I was interested, I said, yeah. Today is Friday. I'm in qualified and so on. Can we speak on Monday? But the deal, okay, let's speak on Monday, see the travel. So I call Monday, they don't answer. I call, I already know what something happened. I know this story. So they got PJ Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Drive. I went to Indy anyhow, and on Tuesday, he went out on happy hour. You know, normally put a new set of tires and go out and see how fast you can go because it's everything. So went out and actually was winning and boom, crash on turn one.
Oh.
Well, I hotel 10 o'clock at night. The phone ring. You want to drive? I said yeah. So I went the next day. So this was Thursday. I start to run Thursday afternoon until do this, make the arrangements and blah blah blah. So could get any speed, and I have a Minardi, and we change, and nothing happened. I start to, man, it's 1 year that I don't drive. I don't know. My feeling maybe it's not as good. I don't know, but and I really annoyed. And so went after practice and blah blah blah. So went to the hotel. Think about what happened. So wake up in the morning, go to the racetrack, and the engineer was in the front of the garage, wait for me, and he said, "Raul, you was right." Went over the car and the right rear suspension. I said, well, we have something to looking for, no?
Yeah, something to work with.
So we start to run, start to practice, start to change the car. They change every change. We top 3.
Wow.
Okay, so happy hour. Arrive happy hour. Joe Medard sit on the phone. Please be careful. Set of tires and do a qualify run to see where it was. Be careful. We don't have a qualify engine. That's the engine we need to use for qualify, which is a. And I said, okay, you worry. I took this seat belt of the car. I said, we're not doing. That's it. We do. So the following day, so we did that 15 year. So I run. I'm in for a long time during the day. I end up outside the front row. It was something that I cannot believe. Nobody believed.
Wow.
So they actually one day testing, but in the then we cannot run. It's the only car we had. So I run the spare car of Gordon, which was my teammate, and we and my car, but didn't work very well during the race. I went down.
Yeah, you went back.
Then I did some other races for them, and then the American driver got ready to drive, so he went back to the team, and I end up finished the race driving for LA.
Okay.
So and then that was it. Still doing stock cars. I did like 3 years. Did some like longer races with Porsche. Won the 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Is a race very traditional. And then I started drinking music.
And yes, you went from from one kind of noise to another. I mean, and that's going well, isn't it? The music thing. You've been doing it for what?
Yes.
15 years now? 15, 20 years now?
15, because people thought I went crazy. Some other people said, man, they himself for the second time. He's doing something that he loves to do it, and he
which is important. So, if you love doing something, then you do it, and
exactly.
I mean, I remember seeing an advert, and it was somewhere online, and it came up as like DJ Raul Boesel, and I just went, nah, that can't be him. Sure, no, maybe it can't be that Raul Boesel. Surely not.
Maybe his son.
Yeah, I thought that's got to be a coincidence. It's someone with the same name, or I don't know. But then when I looked, and it was you.
But it's funny. A lot of times come really root for you in the races. Oh, can I take a picture to you to take because much young people.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant. I mean, you played some decent sort of venues and shows, haven't you? I mean, it's all going well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great.
I play in good, big festivals and parties and everything. And have fun.
Yeah, and
too much, right? Now you can ask anything. You can ask questions.
No, it's great. I mean, no, it's great. I mean, I just think that it's great that you've got this like second career that you love doing, and you've come in and I think there's a lot of people that think, I'm too old to change what I'm doing, or I should have done it 30 years ago, or whatever it might be. And it's proof that if you want to do something, then you can do it. And you've obviously made a great success of it. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. And at
the beginning was really hard because to know music, to like, to play and play for a big crowd is a big responsibility. Like the promoter, hire you to do it, so you need to, and you want to perform to get a new gig, like playing again. Somebody to hire you is people think I lock at home with a coach to learn all the how to do it.
Because I would have no idea. It's just loads of buttons and stuff, and I would no. But
and
fantastic.
You can let the crowd go away to another DJ 10 minutes, or you can get the crowd to you.
Yeah, if they're coming towards you, then it's a good thing. Then you're doing it right. I'm just thinking, do you get the same? Did you used to get nervous before big races, and do you still get nervous before doing one of your shows?
Yeah, the butterflies.
Yeah,
the famous
like
butterflies.
Excited, nervous.
Anxiety. Yeah, it is. It's like it's before a race. You think what start. You see the crowd before because normally follow other DJ. You play for 2-3 hours. Sometimes one time normally it's 2 to 3 hours, and you see the crowd. You see what what the reaction of the people, of the crowd. So and you see like this eye contact, you know.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Is in motor racing is very do a great overtake is like at the moment you don't divide with the crowd, you know.
Yeah.
You cannot see it if you that guy his spin is really bad, but they know if it was engine that broke or was a mistake, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well,
like
I guess,
when you play, no, the reaction is right there.
yeah. I mean,
It's eye
and I guess
to eye.
when you do something good in a racing car, it's just you and your helmet, and you think, "Oh yeah, that was
Yes,
it." And it's a very personal thing almost. And with what you're doing now,
yeah,
it's thousands of people just
yeah,
and enjoying themselves, and
yeah.
that must be a great feeling. It
Exactly.
must be really good because
It
I
is.
mean,
It is.
I spoke with well, we were talking before we came on about other kinds of music, and in like Status Quo, there was like Rick Parfitt was the guitarist, and his son now races. He races in British GT and the British touring cars and stuff. And he said the same thing. He said, "Oh, it's great, you know, when you overtake someone, having been because he's been a musician first and then a racer, and now he does both." And he says, "Oh, when you do a great overtake, or you do so, or you save a spin or something." You kind of want people to cheer for you when you're in the car, but they can't because there's no one there.
Exactly.
It's
So
like the other way.
yeah. So if you're in the top three, you know, if you're fourth, you're not even with your team or shit race. You know, you keep your frustration for you,
Yeah.
or you can start last. Great race, but you frustrate at the same
You
time.
feel like, oh, I love it. I just love that sort of those.
No, it is brutal. It's a psychological side of when you know on the high level, you know, pressure all the time, and you race against the others, but you race against yourself all the time.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with whatever you do, whether it's motor racing or music or anything, there's always a battle in here. And that's the hardest one. That's the hardest one to win with whatever you do.
There's another element that is not depend on you. Music depends on me. Play on the player. Soccer, you know, or a member of the team. Like motor racing, you can doing well and broken, or a bad call from your pits.
Yeah.
It depends, you know, a lot of things. It's not just your performance inside the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But as long as you're happy with what you're doing, that's all you can do. But yeah, no, brilliant. I love those two worlds, similar but different. I mean, I'm saying we've been talking for over 2 hours, which has been brilliant.
Oh, really?
It's been amazing. Yeah, I've only just had a look at 2 hours, which has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I just want to sort of wind down a bit. We always have some fun questions just at the end, just little things, just to go out so we can have a smile about things, because we all need to smile in the world. I mean, you touched on it before. I mean, I was going to ask, did you have any favorite drivers when you were growing up? You mentioned Emerson Fittipaldi. I guess he would have been one.
Well, he's you know, what's happened with him. You know, he come back and win is, you know, no words about that. So who can do that? You know, that the movie, you know, is really for the people that watching it. he's a day one, to get where he was, to make Ferrari good. Yes, even if he didn't come back to motor tire, maybe I had a chance in McLaren. I don't know. I really take my hat for Niki Lauda.
Yeah, I think.
You have maybe people more talent like Schumacher or Senna, or Nelson Piquet. I don't know. I think Piquet from Niki Lauda on his Brabham years, he started driving alongside Niki Lauda. So, but overall, I think looking his life, Niki Lauda is
incredible, an amazing guy. Yeah,
and he raced against the best, like Prost, Rosberg.
Yeah,
I raced. I mean, I was on the same track at the same time as these great drivers, to race with them. But I was there in the same race, like Prost, Alan Jones for a few races, so many times, and the cars are so much, I think, difficult to drive than
for sure.
But and Nick was there, so great.
I think for him to go against those guys and beat them in those cars, as you say, was amazing.
Yeah.
With what happened, okay.
Mansell in Formula One, he did well for a while, a lot of races. Mansell qualified behind me.
Yeah.
in Kaelan, So, but if you see, I drove against him IndyCars in many races, even if my team was not a Newman Haas, but I raced, So this in my mind, if I have be able to show some.
No, cool. It was kind of, it's like Nigel being the age I am. He was kind of the British guy that I followed, and he was,
after Ferrari and so on,
I actually
and such a I mean, like a personality as well.
Yeah. So I actually won a competition a couple of years ago for a signed Nigel Mansell steering wheel. So that's on my desk. I actually met him last year, just up the road at Williams, which was very cool. Nice guy. Okay, quick one. What's your favourite car that you've ever raced, whether it be IndyCar, sports car, F1? If you've got a favourite that you enjoyed driving the most? I love this question.
Well, I think it was the 3 IndyCar. That year was a really good. It's the only team that was a little bit ahead of ski and Newman Haas.
Okay.
And then us, it was a year that I should won Indy, should won Michigan. So was enjoyed. Yeah, the Jaguar was I never expected,
Yeah.
And of course the Tom Walkish was always, everybody think he was a tough guy. With me, he was straight, help, got me all the time. I was in trouble. I mean, with you go there and okay, Raul, you're gonna drive for me again. Great. So Tony Dow was the team manager for Jag. So
wow,
it was great to me.
Brilliant. I love that. I love hearing that about Tom, because people only know him really from the British touring cars here, but he's obviously was great with you and sports cars and everything else. But I am glad that you said the
I have a
1993
story.
car. I am glad you said the 93 car because I love it. It's a great car.
Yes, it was a good. But I made a mistake in Monza in 98-7. Running first and second. Lammers was leading, was second. And about maybe 5 laps to go. Start rain. And I thought, well, this will be my chance. I'm gonna do another lap, and and I'm gonna need for him to do the pit stop. And I went through. So when I arrived the other side of the track, the S, the other side in Monza.
Yeah, the Ascari.
You know what? Yeah, Ascari was like raining like hell. I slowed down. And on the S's, the car stopped on the gravel. I want to kill myself.
Oh, jeez.
I said, "Oh, imagine, right?" So Lammers even stop and give me a ride to the pits. So I get out there, and he looked at me and said, "That's the only thing," he said. "Hope you learned the lesson." That's it.
Yes, that's all he needed to say, I guess.
Nothing. And I need to get a ride on his plane to living in Portugal to London to get a plane to go. Imagine my feeling, but he never said anything else more. That was it. And then when I won the race in Spa, was in the rain. So I got.
You said
I
learned.
I won the race. I won the race, and then I race.
Brilliant. Wow, so, love it. Love that. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, 2 more little questions. What your favorite circuit that you've ever raced on? Do you have a favorite? Your favorite track? Circuit.
I tell you what, is that when the car is good. I drove in Indianapolis, enjoying every corner, every minute. As well, driving with a bad car. I didn't want to wake up in the morning. But, so if you ask any driver, if the car is good on that one, or Silverstone, the old Silverstone, I never drove in the new one. Was fantastic tracks.
Brilliant, the old one, yeah.
When the car suits you and you are just fast, fantastic. You go to the same track and the car doesn't respond to that. Yeah.
I think that's probably the best answer.
You like the
track, but I like that. Any circuit where it works. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. Final question. It's a tough one. I mean, we mentioned that, we've got a lot of respect for Niki Lauda and these kinds of guys. You've raced against a lot of great drivers. I mean, just going to name a few. I mean, it's an incredible list. I mean, I think you've even raced against Michael Schumacher at Le Mans, but you've got like Gilles Villeneuve, the Andrettis, Fittipaldi, Hurley Haywood. You've raced against Niki Lauda, Derek Bell, Hans Stuck, Moreno, Mansell, Peroni, Brundle, Johnny Rutherford, Rick Mears. I mean, the Unzers, Bobby Rahal, Danny Sullivan. There's so many drivers that you've raced against. I mean, there's a long list on here. Is there anyone that you've raced against that sticks out in your mind as being the toughest or the most complete racer that you've raced against? It's a heck of a question, I know.
I think Alan Prost.
Alan. I had his son Nico on just a couple of weeks ago. He's
Alan Prost he's very intelligent,
Mm.
and I think the smoothest drive. When you see him in the track, you thought that he's not that fast. The car is just smooth. He know how to was as well, and he had tough competition at the time, the best,
Yeah.
So that's his level is like Schumacher and Senna,
Yeah. I
And
think I think a lot of people kind of they look at obviously with what happened to Ayrton and the fact he's no longer with us and that he was so exciting to watch and a bit crazy but just absolutely brilliant. But Alan Prost almost gets forgotten about how good he was. He was
very, very consistent, very consistent, very. Nelson Piquet, Nelson Piquet he's the best too. He was fantastic, especially with the ideas and that overtaking over.
It's the one in Hungary, the overtake in Hungary.
Hungary, sorry.
That's still unbelievable. I still can't believe that it happened.
He was in a go-kart,
Yeah. Fantastic. No, we go with Piquet and Prost. Love that. Right, I mean, we've been talking for so long, like I could talk for many more hours with you, but we don't want to keep you too long. But just to say thank you to everyone who's tuned in and the questions and everything. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. And of course, thank you to you for coming on and having a chat. And it's been fantastic speaking with you. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I really appreciate you coming on. So thank you very much.
That's why I decided during the pandemic, the COVID, we started to have this so on.
Yeah.
And I start to tell these stories, and people say you must to see the back side of the and I said I'm doing so almost finished.
Oh, we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to that book coming out. I said that I might have to learn Portuguese, but we'll be fine.
All right.
But no, it's great.
But I appreciate very much.
No. Well, thank you for coming on and telling the stories, and we're looking forward to reading some more in the book for sure.
And thanks for you guys that watch.
No, yes, thank you to everyone who has tuned in. It's been fantastic. So we're going to say good night. But again, thanks very much, everyone, and we'll see you again.
Okay.
Very soon.
See you.